Welcome back to Tales from the Glass-Guarded World. When we last left our hempen heroes on a cliffhanger so intense, it's only got one finger left on the ledge. Paxton finally had a chance to speak to his own defense, saying some wise things, but also maybe some things he wishes he could take back. The trial then took a surprise turn, when with a little mischievous magic, one of the ancient trees came to his defense. Consul Brennelfor has just begun to announce the verdict. What will that verdict be? Will Alvin's testimony be enough? Are tree testimonies even permissible in court? Am I really going to drag out this Dungeons & Dragons court drama for another entire episode? Let's find out now. Welcome. Consul Brennelfor clears his throat. Based on the evidence provided, based on the testimony of the witnesses, the council finds the accused guilty.
Gasp.
Murmurs go throughout the court. People are talking. Some people seem to be cheering. Some people seem disheartened. And then the little hempen lumpen pipes up and says,
"Guilty. Is that the one we wanted?"
And then explodes in a shower of smoke, sparkles, and flashing lights. Standing in his place is a little napkin lumpen.
So Napkin Lumpen has a blindfold over his eyes, and he's holding what looks like a piece of felt with something like a nail sticking out of it, and he's groping around with his hands. Is anyone sitting next to him or standing near him?
Yeah, so Iron Lumpen is near you.
Okay, so he gropes out and kind of pricks Iron Lumpen with this felt and nail, and then pulls off the blindfold and says, "Did I do it? Did I win?"
Ow.
So the court is just all of a sudden just in silence as after this crazy thing has just happened, and people are quiet and looking around, and then Brennelfor scratches his head a little bit and says, What was that? What happened to the other one?"
Well, why are you all at the birthday party? Where's Amelia?
Okay.
Lumpen?
Frith, this isn't some sort of mischievous thing to try and get yourself out of trouble, is it?
I mean, if it was, it doesn't seem to be working.
Yes. I don't know about this. And yeah, okay. Well, anyways, we're going to continue with the verdict if that's all right with everyone.
Oh, hello. I'm the sensational, magical, wonderful red bard extraordinaire.
Yeah, please. Okay, yes, that's great. Perfect.
And he flits through the air.
No, stop it.
Doing prestidigitation to make glitter.
There's glitter everywhere now, and you see a janitor kind of towards the back of the room, and you see just a dour expression go over his face. Brennelfor clears his throat again. Yes, well, as I was saying, the council finds the accused guilty of conspiracy, sedition, and various other crimes against the city of Two. However...
Me? I'm sorry.
No, stop it. Be quiet. I really would like to finish this thing, if you don't mind.
Okay.
However, while the council would normally assign the death penalty for these charges, we are in agreement that certain unique factors may have contributed to these crimes, and that the accused may not be entirely responsible for these charges. With that being said, the council sentences the accused to 10 years community service. The sentence will begin working under the direct leadership of General Halth Rogers amongst the peacekeepers. However, based on larger events and certain dire circumstances, the accused will be allowed to begin his service after 8 months' time. A Geas spell will be placed on the accused in order to make sure that he returns.
Editor's note. You may be thinking to yourself, hey, wait a second, that's not how Gesh is pronounced. Well, actually, although it seems like just simple mispronunciation on Pink's part, that word is actually pronounced Geas here in the Great Forest, so it's not a mistake.
Removal of the spell, or failure to return, will result in a squadron of soldiers being sent with express permission to kill on sight. Is this understood? And he looks at you, Paxton, and the Lumpens.
Yes.
Fancy Napkin Lumpen raises his hand.
Yes?
Where are we?
Varen just ignores you, and he actually storms forward to right directly in front of the council table. And he almost seems to just be in this rage. I want Paxton and both the Lumpens to roll a perception check for me.
That is a 17 for me.
10 for Iron Lumpen. Meanwhile, Iron Lumpen is just spinning in place like a dog trying to chase that tail.
18.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, nice.
All right, so Lumpen and Paxton, you both seem to notice that Varen, as he is going up and kind of charging towards the high table, his hand seems to be resting at his side, like on nothing. His hand is just like holding thin air next to him.
I shout, he's got a sword.
He glares at you, Paxton, and then he looks back at the council and he says, What is this? This is insane. You're just gonna let him walk after everything? And Brennelford turns sharply to him and says, "Watch your tongue, Varen." And Varen, he goes even more red. His hand goes away from his side where it was, and he says, "You're right. Now, let me speak more clearly. With the exception of one of you, you are all a bunch of gutless fools, duped by a couple of talking dishcloths into releasing an insane murderer onto the public. My father would be ashamed of all of you. If justice will not be done, it will be done elsewhere." And he then abruptly turns and stalks out of the council chambers, slamming the door open in the process. There's an awkward silence after he leaves.
Wow. He said one of us is smart. I hope it's me.
He was definitely talking about one of the Lumpens.
Yeah, there's kind of a stunned silence. You see Alara Bluefire shaking her head down over to the side. This is kind of meta for a second, but I wanted to tell you guys, so the results were you guys had 6 successes and 5 failures. So because you had one more success than failures, I'm counting it as a success, but it's a mixed success. And so the mixed success is that Paxton isn't sentenced to death, but there was consequences.
I mean, that seems like the most realistic outcome because, like, Paxton is guilty in the grand scheme of things. Like, he did do those things.
Yeah.
So, fair.
Everybody, after a couple moments, stunned silence, Brennel 4, he straightens up and he kind of straightens his robes and he coughs and he goes, "Well, that is all. Paxton, Frith, please remain as the Geas spell can be cast upon you. If anyone has any questions, the council will be in their chambers." And he steps down and he begins to walk towards the back of the arched room. As you're standing there, Half comes up to you. "Congratulations, Paxton."
Thanks. Sounds like I'm going to be working for you for a while.
"Yeah, sorry to hear you got stuck with me."
That's fine. You seem like a good guy.
"Well, I appreciate that. If it helps, a lot of what we do in the Peacekeepers actually doesn't involve fighting at all. We actually do a lot of community restoration and preventative efforts. We work with a lot of at-risk groups to stop crime before it starts. You might actually enjoy it."
Heck yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing I was hoping to do whenever I came back to 2. But regarding the 8 months gap, you probably need to talk to Atulf about coordinating all this stuff because I think at this point he knows more about what we're going to do than I do.
I understand. Well, we can speak it over for now. Relish in the fact that you succeeded in your quest, and it seems that things are turning for the better.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to kill me, so that's great.
It is. It is. This is the first I've ever seen a guilty verdict of such magnitude not result in instant execution.
I hate to put things on a rush, but could I maybe take a bath and get a beer?
Yes, I believe that can be arranged.
Awesome.
And then Atolf begins to make his way up forward as well, but there's kind of a big throng of people making their way out of the chambers. While that's happening, Paxton, you actually see Alara Bluefire make her way over towards you.
Paxton is very cautious, looks nervous as she's walking over.
Yeah, and you have a right to be worried because her face is definitely very tight and she has tears in her eyes and she seems like she's feeling a lot of emotions.
Sure.
Are you okay?
She pats you on your little head, Lumpen. And then she turns to you, Paxton. You don't remember my husband, but he met you once. It is a long story, but he found you escaping amidst the crowd once, and at that time, he let you go. He told me later that it was because he thought he saw goodness within you. I remember that it was one of his largest regrets. Despite being a valiant warrior, my husband was a man who desired peace above all else. Peace for our forest, peace for our city, our family, and our son. I cannot speak for my son or my husband, but I forgive you, Paxton. And Paxton, as she says that, you actually almost drift off for a minute as something finally clicks. You remember that when you broke the soul jar, a soul came down to you and spoke to you with a woman's voice. And the soul said to you, I forgive you, Frith. Let me show you. You finally understand that voice that was speaking to you, that offered her forgiveness, was Evnis, the woman who loved you, who Frith betrayed.
Paxton starts tearing up a little bit.
You kind of come back to it as you hear her saying, I have done many things that I am not proud of, but I am thankful for grace and for second chances. Please, Paxton. And she actually grabs onto your hands with both hands, Paxton, is gripping tightly onto your hands. And she says, honor my husband's memory by bringing peace to this world and to the one above. And if you can, please, help bring peace to my son. Go, Paxton. Go in peace. She nods at you.
I'll try my best. I truly, deeply apologize for what I took away from you in Varen. Obviously, I can never give that back or make that wrong right, but you made the right decision today, and even if you don't believe it fully now, I will prove it to you in the years to come.
I am looking forward to it. And she smiles at you.
Trying to think of what I can do to make things right with Varen other than just giving him space. Do you think I should just leave him alone?
I do not know. He has not been the same for the last several years.
You're aware of his sword, right?
I do not know what you speak of.
I believe that he is carrying a cursed glass steel sword, much like the one that he showed that I had been carrying. And whenever I carried it, as he pointed out, it kind of corrupted my personality and made me into a very aggressive, violent person again. And I think he calls his sword Vendetta. And I'm worried about the effect that it's having on his mental state.
Her eyes widen. I had not heard of this, but it would certainly explain some things. Very well. I do not know what you can do for my son, but I worry of what he will do next. Please protect yourself and be wary. And if my son tries to take things into his own hands, show him mercy, please.
Absolutely.
She nods at you. she begins to make her way back towards the council chambers. Finally, Tolf and some of the other people around are making their way up. You hear Tolf's classic, "Ah!" Yes. "Paxton, we did it.
Yeah, we did.
This is fantastic. This is very good, Paxton. We can make our way now to the Iron Empire.
Do you think 8 months is going to be enough time?
It will have to do. We will make it work."
Absolutely, yes. I still haven't had the Geas put on me yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I'm telling Atulf, I need to have this spell put on me before I leave town. I don't want to just rush off, but obviously we do need to. The clock is ticking, so I think you might need to talk to General Health about what we're going to do, just to make sure that we're all on the up and up. That he doesn't think I'm trying to skip town or anything.
I understand. I will speak to him. And he goes and he actually will immediately kind of walk over to General Health Rogers and grab him by the shoulder, and they'll walk over to the side and start talking.
Do I see that old woman that put the Zone of Truth spell on me around at all?
You do see her, and she's actually been brought back into the room by some of the guards, and she begins to walk her way over towards you. As she begins to walk over to you, you hear her begin to cast this spell, Paxton. She puts her hand upon you. There's a range to it, but for some reason she actually has put her hand on your chest and is casting the spell. It takes about a minute. While that's going on, Napkin Lumpen, you see a very strangely dressed man with all sorts of feathers coming off of his hat and very bright, vibrant clothing with several vests and belts and all sorts of stuff. And he looks at you, little Napkin Lumpen, and he says, "Hello."
Hi, I like your hat.
Oh, thank you. I am Paxton Best Brown.
Hi, brother.
Why are you talking in such a strange voice?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I can't understand.
Brother?
Then he scoffs and he turns away and says, "I think I will speak to someone of much more intelligence."
Oh. You know Lumpen? This is Lumpen.
Yeah. And he begins kind of just messing with his nails.
Fancy napkin Lumpen indicated iron Lumpen, if that wasn't clear.
Gotcha. He just is ignoring you. All right, so Paxton, finally, the woman, this cleric, she finishes her casting spell, and you feel this sense in the back of your mind that you need to come back in 8 months, that you have to be here.
Well, I felt that way before, so maybe it's underlined in red ink in my brain.
Yeah, it's underlined in red ink. It's it's now this permanent sense. Even when you're not thinking about it, you can feel it in the back of your head.
If I understand correctly, the spell's not automatically returning me. It's charming me to make me want to come back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And if I don't come back, they're going to send a kill squad.
Yeah. Or if you don't come back, because the spell will compel you to come back. If you try to not do that, it says it does 5d10 each time you act in a manner directly counter to your instructions.
So would he take damage? Let's say if he were imprisoned and were prevented from coming back by an outside force, if he just knocked on the door and said, "Hey, let me out, please," every day, would that be okay by the spell?
That's a great question. Well, that's a question we hopefully will not have to answer. And if it comes down to it, I hope Mike can figure it out.
I would think the Geas would make you not want to say, "Hey, let me out," right?
Or no, the Geas would make you, if you were imprisoned by somebody else, it would make you want to escape so that you could get back to the City of Two.
Yeah, I hate this jail. I want to go to that other jail.
Exactly. General Houth, just kind of moving forward, he salutes you, Paxton. He shakes your hand and he tells you that he's looking forward to seeing you when you come back. And And he tells you that he has other matters to attend to, but that he's excited to work with you.
Your peacekeeper crew, is there anything that I can bring back from the Iron Empire that you might need?
Well, just yourself and hopefully peace for our world.
I'll see if they have any.
Great. We don't always appreciate glibness in the peacekeepers. He stares at you.
I'm going to be totally honest. I hear people use glib, and I'm not quite sure what it means in this context. Is that like making fun of it?
Glibness definition. Let's see. It says the quality of being confident but too simple or lacking in careful thought.
Oh, he's going to hate me. I'm glib as heck, baby.
It says, or a kind of superficiality, like thoughtless, insincere.
Well, yeah.
So, anyways, he salutes you, and then he's gonna walk off, and a couple of his guards follow you off, and then you see actually one of the guards following him out was the woman that you healed. She originally went down with a snake bite, and then was actually killed later on. So you pretty much resurrected her twice. But she smiles at you, Paxton, and gives you a thumbs up.
I give her a very unglib, sincere thumbs up back.
And she turns and follows after Half. And Tolf says, very well. Are you ready to begin making our way towards the Iron Empire?
I think so. Lumpens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but first, maybe I do not mean to be offensive, Paxton, but perhaps a bath?
Yeah, I agree. I really haven't had like a bath or clean clothes or a good meal in a while. So could we maybe like get an inn and leave first thing in the morning?
Yes, I believe that sounds like a very wise idea.
Oh, Paxton, what are you going to eat?
Oh man, I don't know. I wonder what they have.
Me too.
Me too. Tavern names.
Paxton doesn't know how to respond to that.
You make your way out of the council chambers. You have a few people who've kind of stuck around to shake your hand. They seem like they want to let you know that there's no hard feelings from them, at least.
Oh, and we definitely bring Hemp and Lumpens cactus with us, unless it vanished with him.
Yeah. As you guys are leaving, you hear Alvin say,
Bye, buddy.
Paxton's going to turn around and give the tree a hug.
oh, he's a tree hugger.
Yeah. He thanks Alvin for sticking up for him in court and says, you know, they might not have been as lenient on me if you hadn't have said what you did, so I thank you for that.
The tree doesn't say anything to you. It just slowly bends down one of its branches and pats you with the branch.
Thumbs up.
You see one of the leaves kind of flips up.
Walk away. Cool.
So you guys make your way out of the place, and then you make your way to one of the nearby inns. It's called the Drunken Gnome. You make your way in. It seems to be a pretty lively place. Atolf, he tells you he'll be back. He's going to go get supplies for your journey. And he makes his way out of the inn. You guys are standing inside of this inn. You see there's a pretty lively crowd, mostly elves and humans kind of sitting around talking. It's not too crazy. It's not quite like the Don't Go In. Like, people seem to be a little bit more civilized here. You do see at the bar a very stately-looking gnome with his hair combed, and he waves at you.
At me?
Yeah.
Paxton, kind of confused, waves back.
He motions you over.
And I'll go over.
He says, "Hey, I was just wanting to see if you needed a room or any kind of ales."
Absolutely. I need a room with a bath, because I am not smelling great, and I could use a drink and a good meal. Do you guys serve food here?
We do, yes. My wife, she makes a delicious bratwurst.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Ooh.
And you hear a voice from the back saying, Oh, shut up, Hester. It's not that good. And he goes, oh, it's fantastic. You really got to try it.
Ooh.
Yes, it's amazing. Well, anyways, you said you'd like something to drink. I'll warn you, always think about what you put into your body. You know, these ales, there's sometimes consequences, and I haven't touched the stuff in years myself, but it led to a lot of poor choices, so, you know, maybe consider water or tea.
Do you have any milk?
What kind of consequences?
It's a dark part of my history, I'm afraid. And you hear his wife go, oh, don't, it's okay, honey. Don't worry, honey. And yes, I'd rather not go into it. Anyways, I don't believe we have any milk here, but, perhaps, some freshly brewed tea and some bratwurst?
That sounds great. Lumpens, are you hungry?
We don't eat.
I like to watch you eat, Paxton.
Well, that's not creepy at all. I guess I've seen the Lumpens not eat. I've seen them, like, pretend to eat, but not actually, right?
Yeah, I think they all just kind of did like a Cookie Monster type thing and just kind of mashed it in their mouths.
Yeah. They don't drink really either. They do the same thing. They just kind of like spill it.
Yeah, it just kind of stains their cloth.
Yeah, I'll take a tea and a bratwurst. That sounds great.
Oh, fantastic. Gertrude, my love, please see to their orders. And he goes, and another person has walked up to the bar, so he goes and starts helping him. And you see a very stocky little gnome. She comes out of the kitchen, and after a little while, and gives you guys his food. You guys stay the night without any trouble. Tolf eventually returns, and he actually will pay for you guys' stay. And you make your way out in the morning.
I think we've established previously that canonically, Paxton has been resistant to baths. Did not like to be clean. And I think that being covered in blood for so long, and then having to go through a trial like that kind of was a mental breakthrough where this might be the first bath that he's enjoyed in a long time. Like he takes his time. He gets all the nooks and crannies.
Wow. All right. That's
I have an important question. Are the Lumpens taking a bath with you?
The Lumpen does not bathe with him. I knew it was coming.
Because I imagine like a bubble bath, and then we're like playing with rubber duckies there.
Yeah.
We have our own bucket off to the side, not in the same tub as
you guys are just kind of splashing along in your own little bucket over to the side.
Paxton's using a washcloth, and for a brief second, he's like, oh God, is this napkin Lumpkin?
No, the washcloth doesn't say anything to you.
Really, the studs on Ire Lumpen would help exfoliate your skin.
Oh, God.
That's a great idea that I refuse to explore.
It's more useful for cleaning cast iron stuff, you know.
Yeah, we're not going to explore that any further. We'll let the fan fiction go in.
That'll be a Patreon exclusive.
If you get all cleaned up, the Lumpens look more pristine than they have in a long while. And you eventually make your way out in the morning with Atulf leading the way.
Paxton, do I smell good?
Let me check. I'm going to roll a perception check. That's a 21. I know exactly how he smells. How does he smell?
You tell us, Ryan.
Roll a performance check.
Oh. Let me roll that then. From all of Fancy Napkin Lumpen's time in the kitchen, he actually he smells pretty good. He's kind of infused with the scent of spices and roast meats and all sorts of aromatic, good-smelling things.
Paxton goes, is that turmeric?
I don't know, maybe.
Huh. It smells good.
Thanks.
Kind of makes me want more bratwurst.
You smell better, too.
I hope so. That's a low bar to clear. It was pretty rank yesterday.
I remember.
Well, I feel a lot better now. I feel ready to hit the road or the high seas or However, we're getting there. Are you all ready for another road trip?
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You make your way on the way, walking forward. You do see a Sigbert's Sorcerer's Stuff shop front. It's standing in kind of the town's marketplace. There is a little bell next to the mirror, but the mirror says Sigbert will be with you shortly.
And Atolf's with us, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Atolf, do you know about Sigbert?
I do not believe so.
He's a vendor of magical items that sometimes they're useful, sometimes they're junk though, and I don't know, I don't feel like I really know enough about Arcana to always tell the difference. But you might want to check it out. If you like magic stuff, you might find something you like.
I do not know if it is worth the detour.
That's a fair point. You want to just skip it then?
Maybe we should skip it so that the magical man in the sky does not have to figure out how to do that voice.
No, I'm just. That's not what he said.
He says, I believe it might be a distraction.
I don't think I've ever really gotten anything from Sigbert that at least that I can remember that made a huge difference. But I usually forget about all the stuff in my backpack anyway, even whenever it's useful, so probably not going to do me any good. Let's hit the road.
So you start making your way out of town until you guys make your way out. You see a few people kind of give you nods. You see several peacekeepers around the town, and they seem to have already heard about you, Paxton, and they nod at you, and a few of them salute you.
Do any of them seem hostile, like they don't like that I'll be working with them?
Yeah, there is definitely a few glares from some of them, and they kind of look at you, and then they almost turn away and just ignore that pretend like you're not even there.
Well, that's a problem for 8 months from now, Paxton.
Thank you. You got that charisma. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
You guys make your way out of the city of Two. Atolf mentions to you that he has a few cell swords that he's hired to walk along with you and kind of carry some of your stuff with you. These two elves, and they walk along with you, and their names are Atlas, and then the other's name is Gorman.
I want to ask Atlas a question that they can't answer so that they shrug.
Sure.
It just occurred to me that I completely forgot that I was carrying around that cursed sword in my backpack. And this might be a good chance to get rid of it in a big city like this. But I only having the same issue that I had last time, which is that I don't want to give it to someone that might use it for the wrong purpose. I just basically don't want to hang on to it and want to make sure that it's safe.
Would they have given that back to you?
I mean, I assume they gave me back all my stuff, but was the sword in there?
No, they did not give you the sword back.
Kind of mad about that, but also kind of relieved, so it's a wash.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you ask this to Atlas?
No, I was just trying to make an Atlas Shrugged pun.
Okay. I didn't even catch it until just now. Okay. Atlas doesn't shrug. So you guys continue out of town, and you make your way out onto the road, and things continue without any kind of hassle for about an hour or two. And then, so I need all of you guys to roll a perception check.
Wow. I got a 19.
Should have upped my wisdom score.
11.
9.
Only Fancy Napkin Lumpin, you seem to hear somebody moving in the bushes off to your right.
Paxton, I think I hear someone moving in the bushes off to my right.
Paxton looks to the right at the bushes.
Nothing happens. However, to your left, Paxton, you guys have kind of gotten to an empty part of the road. There doesn't seem to be anyone else around. You actually see Varen step out from behind the bushes.
Paxton's immediately taking like a defensive stance.
You see his sword is very prominently on his side.
Paxton puts his hands up like, I don't want any trouble. Like we can talk this out. Don't do anything silly.
You really think I'm just gonna let you walk, Frith?
Hi, Charles.
His eyes dart over to the napkin Lumpen and then dart back to you, Paxton. I am an arbiter of justice, Frith. I work for the city of Two and work for the greater good. And I cannot allow justice to not be meted. And you see his hand grips very strongly onto the pommel of his sword, and his knuckles go white.
Varen, if you really think you're an arbiter of justice, and you go against the judgment of the trial that just happened, you're the criminal.
You see, roll a persuasion check for me.
13.
He seems to consider it for a second, and then you almost see like just a glow emit from, like, he had pulled his sword out a little bit, and you see a glow come out of the steel of the glass steel of the sword, and then his eyes almost darken for a minute, and he looks at you and he says, "There comes a time when justice must be met by the hands of the people."
So, can I ask you a question, Varen?
Are you sure that that's how you would like your last words to be used?
I don't think these are going to be my last words. I think you need to take a minute, and I think you need to really think whether the justice that you think that you're about to inflict on me is true justice, or whether you're letting Vendetta think for you. If you're as strong as you think you are, let go of Vendetta, and then if you still want to attack me, I'll let you.
You're in no place to be giving orders, Frith.
I'm not giving orders, I'm making a suggestion. If you're strong, you could let go of that sword, and we can talk this out, or you can attack me, but I'm not going to let a sword attack me through you. That's weakness. You're letting yourself be used.
He seems to think about it for a second, and I'm going to roll for him. Wisdom saving throw. He seems to consider it for a second, and then he raises his hand, and you see there's a little piece of iron, and all of a sudden it ignites in flame. And Paxton, you feel your armor begin to grow red hot. And you guys can all roll initiative.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I got 8 for initiative.
19.
7.
The first thing that happens, Paxton, is you feel your suit begin to glow, and it begins to feel red hot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to take 2d8 fire damage.
There's no saving throw or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You can roll it if you like.
Oh, geez, that's 12 damage.
So you've got your armor back on. What is your armor class right now?
25.
Paxton, you feel a arrow bury itself into one of the chinks in your armor, and it seems to just kind of come out of nowhere. You take 11 damage.
Alrighty.
So after that happens, you see another guy walk out of the bushes to the left, kind of the same bushes that Charles came out of, and he cracks his neck. He seems to be very well dressed. He has a lute tied over his shoulder. However, he does have, let me see what it's actually called. He has a double-bladed scimitar that he's carrying with him. He swings it around, and then all of a sudden, he flexes a little bit, and he's got tear off sleeves, and the sleeves just pop off, and you see his muscles just grow, and you see veins start bulging out through his neck and through his arms, and he's going to come swinging at you as well.
Didn't he just shoot me with an arrow?
No, the arrow came from a bush somewhere else.
Okay, so I've been heat metaled, shot with an arrow, and then this guy's about to hit me.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so he comes swinging at you with this double-bladed scimitar, and it is going to miss. I believe a 14 is not going to hit you. But he is now standing next to you, Paxton, and he seems like he's coming directly at you. Now, I believe, is your turn, Paxton.
Let's see. I can't necessarily have a conversation with a Tulpas of reaction, right?
You could say something that would take 6 seconds.
I guess if I try to run towards Varen, this muscle bard is going to get an attack of opportunity on me, right?
Yeah, if you try and run away without using disengage, then he's going to attack you.
That's fine. I'm gonna sprint straight towards Varen and tackle him. So give me that attack of opportunity.
Man. All right, yeah, he misses you.
Am I within 30 feet of Varen?
So yeah, you're within 30 feet of Varen.
All right, I want to charge at him and tackle him, and what I'm trying to do, and you can tell me how we would resolve this mechanically, I'm trying to, like, tackle him, get him on the ground, and pin him in a way that I have, like, my knee on his arm or something, so that I'm trying to get that sword out of his hand. But I'm also trying to do it in a way that means that I'm not touching it, because I know how bad it is to touch it.
Yeah, okay, so roll an athletics check for me.
It's a 15.
He can contest you with athletics or acrobatics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you successfully grapple him. So he is now successfully grappled, but you can use your next turn to try and pull it out of his hand. So you've got him restrained, and now you're reaching towards his sword.
Okay, and I can't really take his sword away from him until the next turn, right? Is what
Yeah.
you're saying. I want to hug him into my plate armor
Ooh.
so that it's burning him as much as it's burning me.
Ooh.
So that if he continues to heat metal me, he's also heat metaling himself.
Okay. It is now the Iron Lumpens' turn.
Ooh, okay, wow, everyone else rolled low. Okay, Iron Lumpens gonna see that that Paxton seems to have this guy covered. Iron Lumpens gonna charge at the barbarian-looking guy with the loot.
Okay.
I'm gonna use a dash action and run at this guy because I just took the charger feat, expecting combat. Yeah, so I'm gonna dash towards him. I'm assuming, is he within 20 feet of me?
Yeah, he's within 20 feet of you.
Awesome. Then yeah, I'm gonna use a bonus action to try whack him with one of my hand axes.
Okay.
And nat 20!
Oh, man.
All right, about time Lumpen did something cool. Okay, 2d6 plus 2, and I'm gonna add 5 more damage to that on account of the charger feat. So that is a total of 13 damage to the barbarian guy.
Is that slashing damage?
It is.
The 13 rounded down.
Crap.
6. He seems to just kind of shrug it off, and then he grins down at you. Let's go, boy.
I nervously stroke the tail that's still pinned to me.
You see a violent gleam in his eye. All right, Napkin Lumpen, what would you like to do?
So, Napkin Lumpen, the last that he knows, Charles was still Charles. He didn't know him as Baron Bluefire. That all happened after he disappeared, so he doesn't really understand why Charles and Paxton are fighting. So he kind of shouts out very emotionally,
Fighting. Come on, Charles. What is it good for?
absolutely nothing.
Say it again, Lumpen. Fighting. Look out, y'all. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Listen to me, all.
So I'm trying to do a charm person on Charles.
Okay. So what does he roll as a saving throw?
It's a DC 12 wisdom saving throw.
And he actually gets to roll with advantage because he's an elf.
Oh no.
He seems to like think about it and just kind of shrug it off, and you see him shake his head and keep glaring at Paxton, who's like crushing him. And now Tolf. Well, first actually Atlas is going to go. He's going to look over at Atolf and he's going to say, "Was sollen wir machen?" But then Atolf just kind of shakes his head over at him, and then Atolf is actually going to cast Magic Missile, and he is going to hit this guy with the loot. So he's going to deal 17 damage to that guy.
You know what it would be called if Atolf disarmed this guy?
What would it be?
It'd be a loot drop.
Gosh. All right. And then the other guy is going to cast Firebolt at that guy as well. 14 damage as you see a firebolt come out of what was their Gormand. So it's going back up to Charles. So he's going to look at you, Paxton, and there is just this like glint of pure rage and agony and hatred in his eyes, you're going to deal 2d8 again damage.
So he's hurting himself too?
He is. He's doing it with the knowledge that it's hurting him as well.
Well, it's only 3 damage this time, so I feel like he's holding back a little bit.
Yeah. So maybe it doesn't seem like it's quite as powerful as before. But he is now also going to try and break out of your grip.
He needs to beat a 19.
Well, he got a 7, so I think you're probably okay. You see him struggle against your grip, but he does not seem to succeed. And then you see another arrow come out of the bushes towards you. Gosh, it's a 24. You see an arrow come out of the bushes somewhere, and it smacks off of your armor, but it hits your shoulder, like your shoulder pauldron, and then goes flying off, and it seems like it was incredibly close to your head.
Well, I am on the ground over Charles, so I'm kind of like a plate armor turtle.
Yeah. And then finally, this guy with the scimitar. All right, let's do this, boy. He's going to actually use a bonus action to drop his scimitar, and he is going to use a hand axe to try and slice at the little iron lumpen next to him. Oh, my goodness. What are these rolls? All right, I'm assuming a 9 won't hit you, Iron Lumpen.
It will not.
All right, let's see. He'll roll again.
I'm so slippery from all the soap.
All right, and then I assume a crit fail also won't hit you.
No, it will not.
And you see his daggers or these hand axes coming down, and they're just burying themselves in the dirt next to you. You keep kind of like wobbling around, and he's just like trying to hit you like whack-a-mole, and they keep just being a little bit to the left or to the right. Now it will go back to you, Paxton.
All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I've got him grappled.
Yeah.
But I'm trying specifically to get him into a position where he can't move either of his arms, and the arm that is holding the sword. You know, whenever people grab like a snake right behind its head so that it can't bite you.
Yeah.
I'm doing that with the sword. I'm trying to grab kind of on his forearm so that he can't hit me with the sword, and his arm is held into place.
Okay, so you're just kind of trying to restrain his arm?
In preparation for something else.
Okay.
So do I need to do any rolls to get into that position?
So it's up to you. You can decide if that would be like a dexterity or another athletics roll.
I would say probably athletics, because I'm trying to brute force his limbs into position.
Yeah, we'll consider it more of like a wrestling move, kind of.
Yeah, and that's a 5.
A 5? Well,
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, he rolled an 8, so not too much better, but he doesn't escape from the grapple, but he's able to avoid being like you grabbing his hand. He kind of like pulls his arm back from you as you're reaching for it.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell him, Charles, Varen, you got to drop this sword. I'm not going to kill you. I wouldn't do that to your mom. I wouldn't take 2 people away from her. But I will tell you that if you don't disarm yourself of this sword, I'm going to disarm you in the most literal sense. And I cast spiritual weapon and create a giant lightning axe that is poised right above where his arm is at.
Okay, gotcha. That's
so I don't attack with it on this round, but I'm basically trying to force his arm into a position to where.
Yeah, I'll let you roll an intimidation check with that one.
Ooh, sweet, a 4.
Okay. Yeah, he like spits up at you. Don't you talk about my mother! It is the Iron Lumpen's turn.
Iron Lumpen is gonna look at the loot player who's attacking him and say, "Oh, we are doing angry fighting. I can do angry fighting." And I'm gonna go into a rage as my bonus action, and then I'm just gonna whack him with one of my hand axes. Ooh, I got 18. I got a 22.
A 22 will hit.
Yes, 5 total.
2 rounded down.
We're gonna be hacking at each other for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, you see like a little cut forms on his cheek, and he laughs and he smiles. He seems to be enjoying it. You see now that he's got very bright red hair, and he's got like a what is it called, like a handlebar mustache. Like his chin is shaved, but he's got like a very bulky handlebar mustache, and he seems to be enjoying the fight.
Cool.
It is now Napkin Lumpen's turn.
Just to confirm, how many enemies can we see again?
So you can see 2 enemies.
Okay.
Charles, muscle board, stop.
And then I'm going to cast a Bane.
And what was the saving throw?
It's a charisma.
Okay. Charles, he glares at you and doesn't seem affected. Let's see how this other guy does. He just seems to laugh and he chuckles to himself and just kind of shakes his head at you.
Okay.
Sorry, this is the one time where I'm rolling well is on these saving throws.
I guess that's all I can do.
Atolf is actually, he's going to cast haste on you, Paxton. One of the sellswords, Atlas, he's going to run up and he's going to try to do like a shocking grasp on the barbarian guy. Actually, he's going to hit that guy. However, it doesn't actually really seem like it has as much of an effect on the guy as you would think. He seems to laugh as this electricity shoots out from Atlas's fingers. And then the Gormand is going to go up and actually slash at him with his sword. He's going to hit as well. And so the sword buries itself in the shoulder of this guy, his unsleeved shoulder. It does not seem like it does an incredible amount of damage. And Charles is, once again, he's going to use the heat metal action. So roll 2d8, Paxton.
He might end up killing himself with this.
5.
All right. And then he's going to try and break out of your grip. Ooh. So a 24.
That beats my 16.
He rolled a 19 plus 5. And so he will actually break out of your grip, Paxton. Finally, he squirms out of it. And he rolls away from you.
Quick point of order. Is heat metal a concentration spell?
Oh, that's a great point. I think it actually is. I should have been rolling concentration. The first one, he would have got a success. And the second one, he would have also got a success. So he was able to maintain his concentration as he damaged himself each time.
I tried.
Much appreciated.
And he's going to roll away from you, Paxton. So I guess he used his bonus action and his action. So he's still within reach of you. He's within 5 feet of you. And now it's the other guy's turn. And he goes, using spells on me. Very well. I can use spells too. And he is going to cast Thunderwave. You guys can both roll a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. Not you, Paxton, but the 2 Lumpens.
Rage does nothing for that. Oh. 15.
I did 13, so I passed.
Half as much damage and you're not pushed away.
Ooh.
However, the 2 sellswords that just attacked him, they are going to get pushed away and take the full amount of damage. And he did 12 damage, so you'll each take 6 damage.
Oof.
And as you feel like he kind of pounds his fist on the ground, and as he does that, the shock wave goes out from him, and it knocks back these 2 sellswords, and you guys both kind of feel this wave of force hit you and deals 6 force damage.
Does that affect the loot barbarian as well?
So the barbarian was the guy who cast it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I mean, it's not like it really affects it or anything, but I'll tell you, he's not actually a barbarian or a barbarian. He's just a barbarian who happens to be a magic initiate sorcerer.
And a musician.
Yeah, he just likes to play music.
Yeah.
Him and Baron were in a band together back in the day, and that's how they know each other.
Back in college.
Yep. As that wave of force hits you and kind of rattles your bones, one final arrow comes careening out of the bushes towards you, Paxton. And let's see how it does. Oh, gosh. So this arrow comes towards you, Paxton, and it bounces off of the plate on your back as well. So you're still kind of curled over, and it just bounces straight off you. You feel like a thump as it as something hits your back, but it doesn't seem to have hurt you.
Good.
Okay, so I listened to the end of episode 9 and I started listening to episode 10, but I haven't finished, so I don't know what's happening in the story exactly.
Yeah, everybody's actually dead. It's going to be a pretty bleak episode.
Paxton was so guilty they executed everyone.
Yeah.
Even himself.
Oh, the bodies. The bodies. Oh.
No, I mean, I think it works kind of well that you don't have any idea of what's going on because you have been gone.
Okay.
So So I might not tell you too much just because it might work out better if you just kind of come in clueless.
Okay.
Actually, one sec, real quick before we super start, I definitely need to level up. I don't know if I should become slightly less wise and uncharismatic or if I should take a feat. My God, there's so many feats.
Yeah, I guess the listener should know that the Lumpens have leveled up one time. Collectively leveled up.
Okay. I managed to do it through the PDF. So
Oh, sweet.
I now have the Friends cantrip. I don't know
Oh,
what it does,
fun.
but it seemed
Yay.
appropriate.
I think it's like a little bit of a less version of Charm Person.
Suck up to person.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
kind of, yeah.
jeez. but when the spell ends, the creature knows and becomes hostile.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main issue with it. Where Charm Person, it says they know they were charmed, but they're not necessarily like gonna try and attack you. But with Friends, they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, are you serious?" Like, want to straight up
Yeah.
murder you.
But it doesn't even it only gives advantage on charm checks.
Yeah, we'll see how you're able to use that.
Okay. Lots of frenemies, I guess.
Yeah,
I
lots
should
of
rename
frenemies.
that to frenemies.
Yep. Yes.
Where are we? Sorry.
Without
Can we do another take?
No, I love the voice crack. You can retake it if you want, Ryan. Brithany says, "Hey, congratulations."
Did you just call me Frith? The odds are stacked against me.
Honestly, all these changing names is throwing me. I come from it poorly too because my dad calls me the dog's name sometimes. My family is not great at calling people the correct names.
I don't know what it is about the way that you do Atol's voice versus Mike's, but whenever Mike did Atol's voice, I thought of him as like, I don't know, kind of a skinny guy, and I'm imagining whenever you do it as like Arnold Schwarzenegger with like a Harry Potter one.
I think that's what we decided. That's what he looks like. He has a gray robe. He's like just a tattoo of some red fire on his hand. But other than that, he's just like a straight up jacked wizard with a bowl cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah.
Okay, can I point out then, because I will forget before the next session, if he's a barbarian and if he's raging, he can't cast spells unless he stops raging.
Oh, that's good for me to know.
Yeah, so next time I want my highly successful attacks to not get cut in half. Dang it!
Okay. All right. So let me make sure I appreciate you letting me know. I'll need to make sure his rage is turned off. I didn't know that. So you can't. So barbarians can't cast spells while they're in a rage.
Nope, because Iron Lumpen has exactly one spell he can cast, and I was like, well, that's not going to matter anyway. So I went into a rage.
Yeah, if barbarians could go into a rage and cast spells, that would be pretty crazy. Never play anything else.
I'm sure there's some like weird min-max way of doing it that some people have done. I'm sure someone's built like some weird barbarian wizard combo, but generally not really.
Yeah, I mean, I've made I one of the games I was in a long time ago, I made a barbarian, and he had an axe, and his axe was like a guitar axe that was like mixed with an axe.
Like a Gene Simmons bass.
Yeah, exactly. And so my favorite thing to do was he would use like the enlarge spell on himself to like make himself gigantic, and then he had the feat for like you can use impromptu weapons or whatever, and he would pick up people and use people as weapons to hit people.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that.